Hi class, this is a video for preparing you for quiz number 5. So let's start with question number 1. So you see there's a table, and for this question, you see the first column is the current stock price, the second column is the probability, the third column is the stock prices in a year, the fourth column is the returns in a year. So the first column and the third columns are useless. So we don't need the stock price information because the returns are given. We need probability and return. So we don't need the price information. So the first question is asking for expected return. So just like the homework we did, so you know the probability for each of the economic state, and you also know the corresponding returns. To calculate the expected returns, it's just a sum or just a weighted average of the returns. So the equation, the math equation should be each probability multiplied by its return, 40%. Also 50% plus 0%, right? So this is expected return, 25% multiplied by negative 20%. This is mathematical equations to calculate this question. So here it is, right? So the equations for variance, equations for standard deviations are more complicated. So what you can do is you can find the variance and standard deviations equation at the class website and go to jufinance.com and look for expected return calculator under risk and return. Click on this one. So you will find the, you see the math equations is here. So this is a variance math equation. This is standard deviation math equation. This is expected return math equation in this expected return calculator. But you can also use this calculator to calculate the variance and standard deviation directly. For example, for this question, so we know probabilities is 20%, 55%, and 25%. Okay, so it's 20%, 55. We don't need the percentage sign. And 25. So this is probability, and return is 40%, 0%, negative 20%. 40%, 0%, and negative 20. So these are the input, because we have only one stock in this question. The question is asking for expected return for stock 1, the variance of the expected return, and standard deviation of the expected return. So click on calculate. So you see the expected return should be 3%. You can use 20% multiply by 40% plus 55% multiplied by 0% plus 25% multiplied by negative 20%, you get 3%. And use the equation here, you will get variance equals to 4.11%. This is the equation. And get the square root of the variance, so you get the standard deviation should equal to 20.27%. You can give it a try using the math equation, but I won't do that here because it's too long. But you should get the same answer for the question number 1, 2, 3. Now the second question, we haven't seen some questions similar to this in the homework, so let's take a look. So for this question, so it's giving you the stock prices traded at some specific date, and also the dividend paid on that date. Okay, so on December 31st, 2014, the stock price is $14. On January 26, 2015, the stock price is $13. The company paid 10 cents of dividend. And also, company paid dividend in 3 other times. Also, stock prices in December 30th, 2015 is $7. So this is information given. Okay, so the question is asking you for how much is your dividend yield for this period, assuming you bought the stock on December 31st, 2014. So let's assume this is when you bought the stock, and you sold the stock. You sold the stock on January 26, 2015. So the stock is sold very quickly in the next month. So, but you also received a dividend on that day. So how much is your dividend yield? So any dividend paid or prices given, all these informations are useless information to you, because just think that you bought the stock for $14 and you receive 10 cents of dividend about a month later, and then you sold the stock for $13. So how much is your dividend yield? Dividend yield equation should be dividend you received divided by the purchasing price. So dividend you received is 10 cents. The purchasing price is $14. So dividend yield should be 10 cents over $14. So it tells you that from your investment of $14 for the stock, and your return is how much? That's the dividend yield. So okay, so the next question is asking you for capital gain yield for this period. Okay, so to calculate the capital gain yield, you should use the selling price for the stock divided by the purchasing price of the stock minus 1. So you should use whole capital gain yield. Another term for this is just the stock price, the stock change percentage. So that's capital gain yield. It's only associated, it's only related to the stock prices from the beginning to the end. So what you need to do is your P1, let's use P1 for the selling price, and use P0 for the purchasing price, minus 1. This will be capital gain yield or price change percentage. So it should be 13 over 14 minus 1. Or you can use this, you can use the difference between selling price and purchasing price and divide it by the purchasing price. Or the equation will be P1 minus P0 over P0. That could also give you the same answer for capital gain yield. The third question, the next question is asking you for your total return in this period. So for the stock holders, your total return have 2 components. One is dividend yield, one is capital gain yield. So your total return should equal to dividend yield plus capital gain yield. So you can just add it up from the 2 questions previously you've done previously. So that's your total return. Or the math equation for total return is just like how much you sold it for, which is P1, plus the dividend you received in this period. This is how much you get back from your investment. And then subtract your initial investment. This will be the dollar amount of profit for you, and divide it by how much you invested at the beginning. So that will be your total return. Or you can just use the question and the prior two questions result, add it, that will be your total return. This is this question.